Many people read Psalm 23 as if they're just looking for a momentary relief, as if it were only a balm for difficult nights. But there's something hidden there, a secret that transforms. When David says, "The Lord is my shepherd," he's not just being poetic. He's revealing a spiritual key. Life only finds direction when the heart acknowledges who's in charge. And that declaration, as simple as it may seem, carries a power that heals anxiety, gives meaning to chaos, and restores the sense of control you thought you had lost. Remember, David wasn't born a king. Before he was exalted, he experienced anonymity, rejection, and the silence of the wilderness. He cared for sheep, fragile, defenseless beings who are entirely dependent on the shepherd. By using this metaphor, David is saying, "I know what it's like to need someone greater in order to survive." Psalm 23 wasn't written on a throne, but in the middle of internal and external battles. That's why it speaks with such authority. It doesn't offer cheap comfort. It offers a safe path. And that path begins with surrender, letting God lead. If the Lord is your shepherd, then you need to stop living as if you're alone in the world. How many times have you tried to fix everything with your own hands, only to end up frustrated? Here lies the first key: recognizing that God isn't just a rescue plan for bad days. He's a present leader for both good and bad days. That's what turned David into someone confident, even when everything around him was fallen apart. And that's what can change the way you handle life. Because if He is your shepherd, then nothing, absolutely nothing, will be lacking. That's one of those phrases people repeat without realizing the weight it carries. "I shall not want" isn't a promise of riches, nor a free pass to a perfect life. It's a powerful reminder. Those who walk with the shepherd are never abandoned. David didn't write this from a palace with everything resolved. He wrote it with battle scars, remembering the days when he had nothing but God, and yet had everything. Because when heaven is your source, the desert becomes fertile ground. A lot of people confuse provision with material abundance, but the secret of Psalm 23 is in understanding that God supplies what is essential, not what is superficial. He knows exactly what you need: peace when your heart is heavy, direction when your mind is stuck, strength when your body can't go on. His provision doesn't come in your timing, but in the right time. And sometimes, the greatest provision is not what He gives you, but what He keeps you from taking. How many closed doors have protected you from falling into traps you didn't even see? Now think, have you ever prayed for something that seemed perfect, and God said no? Maybe it hurt in that moment, but now you understand. It was protection disguised as disappointment. That's the beauty of divine provision. It's complete, even when it doesn't look like it. Because He doesn't give only what we want. He gives what our soul needs. Peace in God, spiritual rest, strengthened faith, renewed hope. That's provision too. And when you start living with that awareness, you realize the next step is already being prepared. Anyone caught up in the busyness of life knows that soul weariness is heavier than physical tiredness. Some people sleep 8 hours a night and still wake up exhausted. That's because the rest Psalm 23 reveals isn't just physical, it's spiritual rest. David speaks of green pastures, and that's not just a beautiful place. It's an atmosphere of peace where the soul finds renewal. And the most powerful detail? He makes me lie down. Because sometimes we don't even know how to stop. Have you ever noticed that sometimes everything around you feels like chaos, but deep inside, there's an unexplainable calm? That's the kind of rest God offers, and it doesn't depend on favorable circumstances. It's like what happened to Jesus during the storm. While the disciples panicked, he slept in the boat. Why? Because those who are aligned with the Father can rest even in the middle of war. That's what David experienced. Rest that didn't come from the absence of problems, but from the presence of God. If you want to experience that kind of rest, you'll need to do something that goes against modern instincts. Surrender. Stop fighting in your own strength and accept that there is a shepherd who knows the way. It may look like weakness, but it's actually wisdom. Do this today. Take a few minutes. Turn off your phone. Take a deep breath. Read Psalm 23 out loud and simply say, "Lord, make me lie down." That simple act can mark the beginning of a new lifestyle, one where you don't just survive, but live with lightness. And you know what comes after rest? Peace. This is one of the most beautiful and profound images of Psalm 23. God doesn't just take us where there's provision. He leads us where there is peace. And not just any peace. An inner peace that doesn't depend on what's going on in the world. It's like, in the midst of life's noise, He creates a space of silence just for you to breathe. Still waters represent that. A place where the weary soul doesn't need to strive, only trust. And the truth is, some people need that more than any material miracle. David knew what it was like to live surrounded by war, betrayal, and pressure. Yet he writes about this peace as someone who had already immersed himself in it. This peace doesn't come from meditation, breathing techniques, or a relaxing playlist. It comes from the presence of God. Peace in God isn't the absence of problems. It's the presence of direction. It's what Jesus promised in John 14:27. "Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives." The world offers distractions. God offers balance. And those who learn to hear His voice learn to rest even in the storms. Maybe you feel like someone caught in a raging river, trying to stay afloat. But God didn't call you to struggle. He called you to be led. The secret is simple. Stop swimming against His current. Surrender your anxieties, your decisions, even your fears. In prayer, say, "Lord, lead me to your waters." Sometimes what you need most isn't an answer. It's peace to wait for the right answer. And it's in that place of inner calm that the next step begins to make sense, even if it leads through dark valleys. There are seasons in life when everything feels dark. The path closes in, the noise gets louder, and your heart races, not out of excitement, but fear. And it's exactly in those moments that Psalm 23 reveals another hidden secret. It's not a matter of if you'll walk through the valley, but when. David understood that. He doesn't say, "if I walk," but "even though I walk." He didn't run from pain. He walked through it with confidence. Because true courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the presence of God in the middle of it. The valley of the shadow of death isn't just about physical death. It's about loss, trauma, diagnoses, heartbreak, crises no one sees. And it's in this kind of setting that many people give up on their faith, believing God has abandoned them. But David declares, "I will fear no evil, for you are with me." God's presence doesn't remove the valley. It sustains you through it. That's what happened with Joseph in prison, with Daniel in the lion's den, with Paul during shipwrecks. God didn't remove the valley, but He was there the whole time. And that changes everything. Maybe you're going through a valley right now. It could be emotional, financial, relational. And maybe you're tired of praying without answers, tired of pretending to be strong when you're falling apart inside. But listen, God never promised it would be easy. He promised He would be with you. And when He is, the impossible turns into testimony. It's in that dark place that He trains your faith, shapes your trust, and prepares your next season. And you know how He does that? With specific tools, like the rod and the staff. Many people imagine comfort as a warm hug or instant relief. But in Psalm 23, David reveals something deeper. There is comfort even in correction. The rod and staff were essential tools of a shepherd. The rod was used to protect the sheep from predators. The staff was used to guide them and bring them back when they strayed. God, as the shepherd, uses both with perfection. He defends you from what tries to destroy you and pulls you back when you insist on wandering into dangerous paths. And even if it hurts, it's love disguised as firmness. How many times have you thought you were being punished by God, when in truth, you were being lovingly corrected? It's like a parent stopping a child from touching fire. The child may cry in the moment, but one day will realize it saved their life. David lived this. When he tried to follow his own way, like in the case of Bathsheba, he suffered the consequences, but was restored because he recognized the hand of the shepherd. God's staff doesn't exist to humiliate you. It exists to redirect you before you're truly lost. Now, look at your life honestly. Could it be that some of the pain you've lived through was exactly what brought you back to the center of God's will? Sometimes the rescue isn't a spectacular miracle. It's a rebuke that saves you from a bigger fall. The rod protects, the staff guides, and together they comfort. Because nothing is more reassuring than knowing you're being protected by the one who knows the entire path. And when you learn to trust that guidance, even the presence of enemies gains new meaning. There's nothing more striking than being honored by God, right in front of those who doubted you. When David says, "You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies," he's revealing one of the most powerful secrets of Psalm 23. God doesn't just restore you, He exalts you where others wanted to see you fall. He doesn't pull you from the fight to hide you. He strengthens you on the battlefield so even your opponents see that His hand is on you. And that's not revenge, it's justice with purpose. Remember Joseph. His brothers betrayed him, threw him into a pit, sold him as a slave. But years later, who prepared the table? God Himself. Joseph became governor of Egypt and was the instrument of salvation for the very family that rejected him. That's how the kingdom works. God's favor shows up when you least expect it, in the most unlikely place, in front of people who thought you'd already been forgotten. Sometimes, God doesn't remove the enemies because they're about to witness what He's about to do in your life. Maybe you're surrounded by criticism, facing injustice, or dealing with people just waiting for you to fall. But hear this. God doesn't need to eliminate the opposition to bless you. He'll raise you up right in the middle of it. The table He prepares isn't just honor. It's testimony. It's Him saying, "This one is mine." And when God sits at the table with you, it doesn't matter who's watching. The focus shifts from the enemy to His favor. And once you understand that, you begin to see that His goodness won't ever let you go. Imagine living each day knowing that behind you isn't the fear of failure or the weight of guilt, but the goodness and mercy of God. David could have said, "Will accompany me," but he chose, "Will follow me." That reveals a divine pursuit. Only it's the opposite of how the world chases. It's not judgment. It's not demand. It's love running after you, even when you try to run away. And that changes everything. Because while the enemy tries to trap you in the past, God pushes you toward your purpose. David experienced this throughout his life. Yes, he failed. He sinned. He wept. He repented. But instead of being discarded, he was pursued by mercy. And that mercy wasn't just present on his best days. It was even stronger on the days he thought God had given up on him. The Bible is full of stories like this. Peter denied Jesus 3 times and was restored 3 times with a, "Do you love me?" God doesn't abandon his own. He follows. He pursues with grace. And with each new day, his goodness renews what shame tried to bury. Maybe you're thinking, but is God still walking with me after everything I've done? Yes. And not only is he walking, he's running after you. His goodness wipes the floor of your stumbles. His mercy gathers what fear scattered. You don't have to earn it. You just have to trust it. Because Psalm 23 isn't a promise of perfection. It's a promise of presence. And when you understand who's following you, you start walking with more lightness. And that leads you to the ending, which, in truth, is the beginning of something eternal. This final phrase is not a farewell. It's an anchor. David doesn't just speak of dwelling in a place, but of belonging to a presence. When he says, "I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever," he's revealing the pinnacle of the hidden secret in Psalm 23. The journey with God doesn't end with earthly deliverances. It points to a secure eternity. It's more than surviving here. It's living fully beyond here. And for anyone surrounded by uncertainty, that promise is a firm rock in the middle of chaos. In the biblical mindset, the house of the Lord wasn't just a physical temple. It was synonymous with being in communion with God, in any place, at any time. David longed for that. Even as king, even with palaces, it was God's presence that he longed to dwell in. Like Moses, who said, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." True spiritual security doesn't come from where you are, but from who you're with. And when God is your home, even your darkest days are lit with new light. And maybe that's what you need today. Not just temporary solutions, but eternal conviction. The assurance that no matter what happens, you have a place, a shelter, a father. Because the Christian life isn't a quick trip through blessings. It's a constant return to the presence of God. And the good news is, that house is open right now. The invitation has already been sent. The table is already set. The company is already waiting. And all he wants is for you to remain. Because when you choose to dwell, everything changes. Even the way you see today.